are you guys all here? It's Chuck Norris's birthday, isn't it?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No. Never.
Thank you. I want to hear something from that. Actually, what we're here for is that we're trying to analyze like this infamous Team Rocket gang that we see in Pokemon in the Pokemon universe. And of course, there's one certain group that we are going to talk about today. So we're going to explain why Team Rocket sucks. By me, Antibishonen. But before we begin, you know why you're here. You know about Pokemon. You played Pokemon. You made fun of people who played Pokemon. But this time I'm going to make fun of Team Rocket, especially the infamous Jesse and James. I don't understand why you have a cult following with Jesse and James, even though they're the biggest losers in the planet. I'm not talking about the fat people. I'm talking about the biggest losers. So before we begin about Jesse and James, we're going to talk about the story of Team Rocket. We're going to introduce Team Rocket, which is basically just like they're basically poachers. In other words, they go to like South America, capture all these exotic tigers, lions, gorillas, whatever you call it, and then sell it to your local Bronx zoo for like a big hefty profit. Oh, come on, that's true, don't you think so? Yeah. That's what purpose is. They snatch other people's Pokemon and try to sell it for a profit. Or, at better, they actually serve them to get more Pokemon.
Or you kill the Pokemon.
No, you can't kill Pokemon.
You don't kill Pokemon unless you're desperate. We'll get to that later. Yeah, we all know it's run by Giovanni. You know him as the Earth City, Viridian City gym leader. And you know his diabolical plan is?
Rule the world.
You guessed it. Take over the world. Of course. But his dreams were dashed away all because he has to deal with these infamous trio.
Yay!
What are you talking about? He ruined his life. They ruined his life. I mean, they ruined his life. We'll get to why they ruined his life. But before we'll get to the faults of many forces of Team Rocket, let's look at the bios. Yeah. Here we have is Jessie. Not much to know about Jessie, but I know that she was broke, considered an orphan, and her mother left to Giovanni to find for more Pokemon. I don't know what she was doing, but I know one thing. What Jessie's mother's name is? What's her name?
Mom.
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 Yeah. She never said her name.
Actually, no. According to what I read in Wikipedia, I heard her name was Miyamoto. But the problem is that I wasn't able to find any pictures of Miyamoto, so I just picked this other person. And instead of thinking about Pokemon, I'm thinking that she's trying to find the 8 pieces of Triforce. Or maybe she's on the time loop trying to find Majora's Mask. Oh, come on. I mean, Miyamoto. What other person would you name Miyamoto besides that Miyamoto? And then we're going to get to Meowth right here. I'm kind of surprised about his bio. I mean, how many of you guys actually knew the big bio of Meowth? Alright, you know what's going to come. Abandoned as a kitten who was found by Muriel. Nah, just kidding. He was actually found by the Persian gang, who actually, believe it or not, actually had a cat gang. Literally a cat gang. And they were just going around the streets of this big city, trying to find for food and harass all the owners. Until one time, when Meowth, desperate for food, actually found the love of his life, Meowsy. I don't know. She may be cute, but her personality sucks. And yet, by the time Meowth actually wanted to speak to her, this is what she had to say. impress me? Yeah, didn't you see the episode where?
Yeah, she's not.
Yeah, in other words, she's a materialistic bitch. So in response to that, he thinks that if he walks like a human and talks like a human, he could actually impress Meowsy. So rigorous training, compromising his special skill, Payday, in order to impress Meowsy, he actually became Meowsy we know today.
Yeah.
So, once again, when he actually had these two new skills, he went back to Meowsy. Guess what she said? No. Of course. You're a walking, talking freak! And so, sitting in the train tracks, waiting for the train. But, because Team Rocket was Meow's first word, he joined Team Rocket. At least he didn't wait for the train. By the way, extra brownie points if you know where that cartoon came from.
Tom and Jerry. Yep.
Yeah, but do you know which episode?
You're asking impossible.
Yeah, but
Wait, are you
ask me later. But yeah, on a side note, remember what happened to Meowsy?
No.
She was actually abandoned by her owner, and then she became homeless as much as Meow. And now she was actually living with Persian during that time. And then when Meow actually tried to rescue her, guess what happened? He was rejected, went to Persian, and pronounced these words. You're still a walking, talking freak. Fuck you! So that's the story of Meow. Now James is actually, unlike the other two, who's broke and penniless, like Jesse and Meow, this guy's actually used to live in a life of luxury.
He's the 1%.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, he was actually one of those sheltered kids who pretty much had all the money in the world. But how many of you guys remember that episode, like why he left his riches in behind?
Yeah, his fiance.
That's right. Yo, getting those skill manually accent Jezebel.
Jesse. That looks like Jesse.
Looks similar, don't you think?
Yeah.
She was abandoned. Who knows what happened to the rest of her?
Now you know why he's so submissive?
Oh.
Yeah. And of course, we'll get to the processing incident, but let's just keep going, okay?
Oh.
Now, on with the program. Why Team Rocket suck? Fault number one. Their model and purpose.
What?
Alright, come on, shout out the model for me, please.
Prepare for trouble and make it double. To protect the world from devastation. To unite all people within our nation. To denounce the evils of truth and love. To extend our reach to the stars above. Jesse, James, Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to fight. Meow, that's right.
Somebody's been following the cartoon all along. But don't you know what's the problem with their model?
It's too long.
It's not too long.
Too happy.
It contradicts itself.
He's right. It does contradict itself. I mean, as mentioned with Cassidy and Butch, what we get to later, they try to recite the model in a correct way, but obviously they've been ignored. And besides, do you know what their purpose actually been for Team Rocket? What was Team Rocket's purpose?
To capture Pikachu.
No, that's the Team Rocket trio. What's the actual purpose of Team Rocket?
To rule the world.
Of course. But, as you mentioned, all they just do is waste their funding just to capture this Pikachu to catch a Pokemon. And this is not just one episode. No. This went on for like 2 more friggin' seasons of Pokemon just because they want to catch Pikachu. They actually made a song about catching Pikachu. What on earth? This is just like one of those old Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoons I've been watching as a kid. They keep failing. Which is the next fault I always want to discuss. Getting defeated all the time. Finish this quote for me.
Team Rocket's blasting off again!
See? They get defeated all the time. That's why I keep saying it's like an old Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoon. If you can't defeat Pikachu one time, or maybe more than 100 times, maybe you should get a new job. By the way, at least they win a few games, don't you think? Ball number 3. We're flopping their alliance. If Team Rocket was supposed to be the enemy, why on earth would you actually help them for once? I mean, remember the episode where Lieutenant Surge actually defeated Pikachu and Raichu?
Yes.
They were backing them up. And no, this is not the first time it's happened. It happened more than once. It's also in Pokemon 2000, also in other episodes too. Also because they hate Cassie and Butch, which we should get to later.
It's
I mean, in fact, they're actually more useful if they're actually helping Ash Ketchum, which, by the way, Ash Ketchum is a loser. Ha ha ha, you left. Ha 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 ha.
I'm sad now. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's bad enough that you've been losing by Pokemon trainer on a regular basis. But Ash Ketchum, he didn't capture more than 20 Pokemon. He only captured like 30 Tauruses when he was in the Safari Zone. That is, if you actually saw the unedited version of Pokemon, but let's not just get there. And then we also dreaded fault that always suffered them on a regular basis. And keep in mind, it's not just James, it's also Jesse as well. Getting swindled by the Magikarp salesman. He should have been in the Better Business Bureau by now. So yeah, of course, you guys know. So when did he first appear?
Was it on the ship? Like before they
That's correct.
Yes!
It's on the ship. And basically, how he tricked them is that he told James that there's a valuable Pokemon inside this golden ball. And then he told him that he could actually make money on that. And because the fact is that Team Rocket Trio is broke on a regular basis, he actually bought it and actually got something like this. Useless, only in his basic form, but we'll get to that later. So yes, this is not the first time it actually happened. He actually swindled them on a regular basis, but yet that's one of the faults he actually had to deal with during the Pokemon season, which will get to this other fault that they should have known in the first place. That's why, my friends, you should never mess with the Magikarp. But during the crash of the St. Anne, they actually they try to use Magikarp as a useful tool to get him out of the water. But it turns out is that he's pretty much as useless as a Goldeen. So
no, Goldings have some moves.
Yeah, but Goldeen is actually they pronounce it according to the strategy guide is that it's like Magikarp with looks. But once they got on shore, there was been desperate attempts to actually do something to Magikarp. So you know what they thought of? Eating the Magikarp itself. But when Meowth actually tried to bid on it, Yeah, in the episode where they set up short, it was hard as a rock. So that was the last straw of Team Rocket taking off Magikarp for the team. But as what everybody knows, you don't mess with a Magikarp. Yeah. I'll let it sink in. How do you deal with a friggin' dragon that turns into a weak fish? You don't. Let's just keep going. Ball number 6. They're broken penniless. Not just that. I mean, because they don't do their job correctly, they're pretty much broken penniless. I mean, they're pretty much technically unemployed. In fact, Giovanni doesn't even recognize them as Team Rocket at all. And not just that, their only goal is to capture Pikachu. Why don't you work on a job for once? Yeah. And if that wasn't bad enough, in the episode when they got ashore after the big Gyarados Dragon Rage, they were supposed to call Giovanni where they are. But as always, they're broken penniless. And not just that, they forgot to know how to call collect. Which we get to why Giovanni's pretty much pissed off at them. They ruined Team Rocket's funds. Yeah. How many millions of dollars have they destroyed using their machineries, using their tools, using their Pokemon?
So much you can fix the economy.
Pretty much. I mean, in fact, in the episode with the island of the giant Pokemon, which we didn't realize were robots, it turns out that he wasted more than $100 million worth of robots because of Jesse and James's mishaps when they try to escape in that planet. That's a lot of zeros. That is more than enough to fire those trio. That is more enough to see why Team Rocket Trio should be just called Jesse and James. I don't know. Do you guys declare Meowth as an actual Team Rocket member? Because she's just a Pokemon to me.
Comes up with the plans most of the time.
He actually builds the machine.
He always helps James, because Jesse doesn't do anything.
Jesse is a selfish bitch.
That's so funny.
Yeah, what do you like that? This is why James is so submissive, and this is why Jesse is selfish. We'll get to the next fall right now. Fall number 8, ruining Team Rocket's reputation. Yeah, their reputation is so bad that even Cassie and Butch actually cussed them off for being a terrible job. If you noted their appearance in the first episode, is that they actually tried to explain to Jesse and James that Giovanni doesn't recognize Team Rocket at all. And believe it or not, they're not even actual bad Team Rocket members at all. In fact, the only time that they actually had to deal with their faults is because of Jesse and James themselves. Think about it for once. Yeah, I mean, how many of you guys agree that Cassie and Butch should have been the better Team Rocket than Jesse and James?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is why I'm usually irritated with Team Rocket, because they don't pick these as the main villain. We pick the klutziest ones.
Excuse me?
Oh!
What? What'd you name again?
Shut up, I've only been in one season.
I'm terribly sorry, but Butch, you're actually a good Team Rocket member. The problem is that they keep misspelling your name. What's the deal with that?
Bob.
It's Bob.
Buffy.
No, it's Butch.
It's Buffy.
They It's Butch. See? I like your team members better, not the stupid Jesse and James. Don't you agree?
I did agree. They're a disgrace to Team Rocket.
And this is where we get to the good part too. Do you know how they evolved Coffee and Atkins?
They cry on them. Yeah, their tears make them evolve.
Desperation. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pity ball.
Anything losing to ass ketchup, no less. What's worse than being the biggest loser is being lost by a bigger Pokemon loser. I should be speechless. They should have just left their owners by now. And joined the winning team.
Oh. Yes.
Listen, it is so bad that when they received Aggron and Charizard from Delibird, it turns out they were recalled because they were Cassie and Butch. Think about it for a second. And if that wasn't bad enough, even if they evolve, they still lose. I mean, at least not like the New York Knicks. And fault number 10, they keep failing to appease Giovanni. Yeah, there is no excuse for it. If you can't appease Giovanni, why the hell would you call Team Rocket at all? I mean, there were a couple of times they actually did catch some Pokemon with Misty's Togepi, with the Yanmega, maybe other Pokemon. But yet, because of their reputation, Giovanni asked a simple question: what does Togepi do? And obviously, you know Team Rocket, they pretty much catch any Pokemon, right?
True.
Yeah, but he asked that simple question all because how many millions of dollars he wasted in his Team Rocket finances. And what we later realized is that, picture. What we realized is that in Team Rocket and when he passed to Togepi, it turns out it's like one of the more powerful Pokemon out there. It actually defeated Drowsy. It actually defeated Cassie's and Butch's Drowsy during the time when they were in distress.
Shut up!
What? It's true. I mean, Jesse and James could have gave Giovanni a Togepi.
But he refused.
He refused because he keep ruining their reputation and their funds. And ironically, Togepi was actually one of the most useful Pokemon out there after it unintentionally defeated Cassie and Butch with a metronome. They thought that came from they thought it was from another Pokemon. Yeah, Togepi's cute, but unfortunately, he's not as physically powerful, but he knows his skills. But wait, there's one more fault I haven't discussed.
Cross-dressers.
Cross-dressing.
Hold on, the most messed up fault of all.
Cross-dressing.
The balloon. Which cross-dressing?
How many guys think it's cross-dressing?
Totally.
Now remember about the cross-dressing issue I had about James?
Yes.
Yeah. This is why it's the most messed up fault of all.
How do you even do that?
Yeah. I'll let it sink in for quite a bit. I'm sexier than I know. I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Poor Misty.
It's weird that James looks better than Jesse.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
This episode is so infamous is that 4 kids.
Bandit.
Yeah, because it's 4 kids.
Thank God.
And the problem is that even after they release the edited version, it still forever scars people's minds. Yeah. And now we're going to see the result on why this became the most messed up thing of all. Because not only it affects the body images of people in the real world, it actually affects the people in the anime world.
Oh God.
This is why we got something like Omori Himori.
Oh.
She has big boobs. This is why we have Heaven's Lost Property. She has big boobs. How many of you guys want to see the next clip?
Yes.
Yeah. Just keep going.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you really sure?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Do it, Norby.
Majority overruled. Holy hell. This is what we've been down to. It's all always about the press fetish.
Oh.
Always.
All because of James. All because of that.